After that hellacious promo, we cut back to some in-ring work where the bastard Pac took on Chuck Taylor. Pac and Taylor squared up in the center of the ring. Pac took Taylor down with a side headlock. Pac was trying to catch... Pac went onto the outside to confront Orange Cassidy. It seems the storyline is not over between Pac and the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. They continue to build it. But Chucky T gets distracted by Pac and gets hit with a baseball slide. Trent used the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Pac, but Pac was up on his feet and in no time hits a shoulder tackle to Chucky T. Chucky went over the top rope for a pescado to Pac, or we could call it a suicide dive. Who knows what the hell they're calling these things these days. Chuck Taylor has Pac rattled, said Excalibur. We've never seen Pac rattled, but Orange Cassidy has been one of those guys to rattle Pac at AEW Revolution. So the match continues to go on, and Pac is just dominating in the ring. He grabs Chuck. He sinks in the brutalizer submission. A submission that no one has escaped from tapping out. Whenever he locks it in, once or twice, he managed to get the guy to tap out. Chuck taps out to the brutalizer. Orange Cassidy locks eyes with Pac in the ring. The Lucha Brothers come running down to the ring. Spin kick. Orange Cassidy to the ground. Trent tries to make the save, but he gets wiped out by Pac. Pac grabs the microphone and announces that this is the formation of the Death Triangle. The Death Triangle. We've got now maybe 4 or 5 groups within AEW. We've got the Inner Circle. We've got the Elite. We've got the Nightmare Family. We've got the Death Triangle. I maybe miss... Oh, we got the Butcher, the Bunny, and the Blade. We've got 5 groups so far. There may be maybe one I'm missing to make it 6. We've so far have 5 factions within AEW. That's quite a bit. This Death Triangle has the potential to be groundbreaking, innovative, and show-stealing. You've got 3 of the best in-ring competitors. Pac, who's a hell of a... who's hellacious on the mic. He since being freed from the WWE, this guy's just been stealing the show whenever he grabs it. You feel the emotion, you feel it. He's a bastard, and you believe he's a bastard. He gets in there and he dominates you, and then he just starts taunting and talking shit to you. That's a bastard move to do. You've got the Lucha Brothers, who've got zero fear, who are not afraid of anything, just like the man that gravity defined. Pac, sorry. And you've got 3 great high flyers, 3 great in-ring You've got 3 great in-ring tacticians. So this group it's going to be an interesting watch to see what they do with them. It seems like they're going to be feuding for a little while with the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy. I'm excited to see all 6 of these men work together and what they could deliver in the ring. And I'm also excited to see what AEW has in store for the Death Triangle, because they can be a group to be reckoned with. We've already seen Lucha Brothers take on the Young Bucks and several great matches. So I'm excited to see what the Death Triangle has to offer. I'm excited to see that Pac is finally coming to his own and is finally becoming a star. And when he gets the opportunity to challenge for the AEW World Championship, I don't think that he's going to miss that opportunity. From there, we moved on to what we can call another squash or developmental match, where QT Marshall, accompanied by Brandy Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes, took on the Inner Circle's Big Hurt with Santana and Ortiz at ringside. Match went as expected. Hager quickly out-wrestled QT to the mat. He beat QT down. QT tried to make himself a big comeback, but he gets hit with the Vader bomb by Hager. He gets the boots up. QT tries to make a little comeback, hits a swinging DDT. Hager gets tossed in the ring and locked in a standing arm. Hits him with the swinging DDT, but that immediately gets shoved aside. QT gets caught within a standing arm triangle and is put to sleep. Dustin Rhodes runs into the ring to try and break up Hager from choking the life out of QT Marshall because he doesn't let go of the hold. Santana and Ortiz make their way into the ring where they now attack Dustin Rhodes, and they're triple teaming Dustin Rhodes. Cody comes down to make the save. He starts fighting off the Inner Circle, but the Inner Circle odds 3-on-1. Can't fight those odds. The Inner Circle beats down Cody Rhodes, getting the best of him. They hammer him down to the mat. Matt Jackson joins the fray now, coming running down. He's super kicking people. Super kicks Ortiz and Santana. He goes toe-to-toe with Jake Hager. Gets him down to one knee. Jackson runs into the ropes. Hits Hager. Runs into the ropes. Which then leads to Paige coming down all drunk with the beer in the hand, slowly strolling down. And I love what they're doing with Paige. This is some cowboy shit. He comes down with the beer in the hand. He's taking his time while the Elite and the Nightmare family are taking a beating. He gets in the ring. The Inner Circle's looking at him confused. Is he there to help? Is he there to take a beating? What's going on? Hager tells him, hold on a second. Hangman tells him, hold on a second. Places the beer on the top turnbuckle. And then he just runs wild on the entire Inner Circle. He cleans out house. He throws them all out of the ring. He hits the buckshot lariat onto Hager, which sends him flying outside the ring. He grabs a hold of his beer, which did not move from that corner, amazingly, and starts to sip it away. Hangman gives the middle finger to Matt Jackson before leaving the ring. So the story is not done with the Young Bucks. He's still pissed off at the Elite. He wants nothing to do with them. He comes out to help them, though, because they are his friends. But at the end of the day, Hangman's going to do what Hangman wants, and he's not a fan of Matt Jackson. Now, we were made aware that Nick Jackson was not going to be in attendance. From my understanding and belief, I believe Nick Jackson's wife was going into labor. So that may be why he was missing from the event. He made it clear on being the Elite this Monday that his wife is in labor and she's ready to pop at any moment, ready to give birth at any moment. So that may be one of the main reasons we did not see Nick Jackson on AEW Dynamite this week. And if that is true and his wife did give birth, congratulations to Nick and his entire family and the Jackson family. Congratulations to Nick and the entire Jackson family for the new addition to the Young Buck family, to the Jackson family. Then we moved on to our main event. It was leur champion, their former champion, Chris Jericho, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, taking on Darby Allin and John Moxley, with the stipulation of, if John Moxley can walk out on his own 2 feet, Chris Jericho will be gone from AEW for 60 days. The Inner Circle make their in-ring entrance. We cut to commercial. We come back from commercial where Darby Allin is now making his ring, and cue John Moxley's music. John is set to make his appearance. The camera pans to the fans where he's going to come down through the fans, but instead, lo and behold, three masked luchador men attack John Moxley outside, not outside the arena, but within the hallway. Attack John Moxley within the hallway. They beat him down, throw him into the wall, hit him with a trash can, hit him with the trash can lid, which hurt. Just looking at the way they were smashing that trash can lid onto John Moxley, that looked painful. That did not look like it was it was comfortable at all. You could tell. Look, anyone being hit with anything would probably not be happy. So Moxley tries to fight back. He tries to fight, but the odds are against him. The Luchadors remove their masks, revealing it's Santana, Ortiz, Jake Hager, all beating him down. They continue to throw him into the wall. They continue to choke him out. Jake lands, puts on the standing arm triangle, choking him down to the ground. John Moxley somehow tries to get back to his feet, but he's beaten. The trash is thrown onto him. He's beaten down with the trash bin. He's thrown around again. He's just hurt and brutalized, and it leads to Darby Allin having no choice but to compete now in a handicap match against Chris Jericho and the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara. The match goes down as follows. Chris Jericho laughs in the ring as he's watching down on the monitors, Moxley getting beaten down. The bell rings. Darby blasts Sammy with a shotgun dropkick. Momentum shifts as Sammy uses a running knee strike on Darby. Jericho's tagged in, gives Darby a back suplex. They start to dominate the majority of the match. It becomes a 2-on-1 beatdown. Jericho sits down deep on the walls of Jericho. He has to break the hold when Darby grabs the bottom rope. Jericho pushes Darby to the outside, where now Hager's made and Santana and Ortiz have made their way down to ringside. Hager sneaks in a few kicks. Darby smashes Jericho with some fiery forearms, trying to fight his way back after he's thrown into the ring. But the champion, Chris Jericho, throws Darby Allin back outside into the ringside barrier, beating him down. In the ring, Jericho drops Darby with a suplex, continuing to dominate Darby Allin. This has become a 1-2 match. Darby's trying to make a tag. He gets to the corner, but there's no one there. There's no one to help Darby. Darby's on his own. He rallies back. He hits a clothesline on Jericho over the top rope. He sacrifices his own body, which goes back to what Jericho said earlier on. This really is the era of reckless abandonment. And if there's a character who I could say, who I find Darby Allin resembles, I would say Darby Allin is a mixture of Sting and Mick Foley. Sting in terms of his mysteriousness, in terms of the way he comes out in his entrance. Instead of coming from the ceiling, he comes riding down with a skateboard. He doesn't have a bat, but he has a skateboard. He's got half of his face painted. He comes from not humble beginnings, but a rough beginning in his early childhood, from being homeless to poor to now being in an AEW ring and trying to make a name for himself. Darby really is working it, and I could also compare him to Mick Foley in terms of how he just puts his body on the line and has reckless abandonment to what he does. And that's just his style. So Darby throws himself around, hitting the coffin drop on the outside onto the entire inner circle. But that's not enough. Jericho, who happened to get out of the way, throws Darby into the ring. Jericho counters Darby. Jericho beats Darby down. Darby throws Jericho out of the ring. Darby gets the better of Sammy Guevara. He comes running out trying to go for a suicide dive, but lo and behold, Jericho was prepared and hits him with the Judas effect, knocking Darby Allin out cold. Darby hit hard. When Darby went for the suicide dive and Jericho connected with the Judas effect, you saw Darby hit face first, body first, straight on the steel rampway. Darby gets thrown into the ring. Sammy Guevara covers Darby for the pin. 1, 2, 3. The Inner Circle are celebrating. They're victorious. John Moxley is nowhere to be found. He's not walking out. Chris Jericho, that means it's going to be sticking around. He's not gone for 60 days, which is awesome. No one wants to see him go. John Moxley, though, makes his way out. He comes back, comes down. He doesn't give a damn. He's hurt. He's beaten down. He starts to fight off everybody. He makes his appearance on the entrance ramp. He comes down. He fights the Doc off. He's like, let me go, let me go. He hits the paradigm shift on Sammy before Hager takes down Mox. It's a 4-on-1 assault. There's nobody out there to help John Moxley. Moxley apparently has no friends, which is something that's got to change. This guy's got absolutely no friends. Moxley's beaten down until he is powerbombed, Shield style, a.k.a. you looking at me, WWE. He is lifted up, set on the shoulders of Jake Hager. Hager powerbombs him off of the entrance ramp through 2 tables. Moxley is laying battered and beaten and bruised. And instead of putting their fists in the middle like the Shield used to do, Chris Jericho and the rest of the group point the middle finger at John Moxley into the camera, and the camera pans between down Moxley and the middle finger of the Shield. They are celebrating their incredible work and incredible destruction of John Moxley. Their champion is not done with John Moxley. And like I said, the majority of this show was made up of the villains being successful over every single face and every single good guy or good girl within the company. So, Inner Circle stand tall after taking the losses at AEW Revolution. They dominate John Moxley tonight. And we're leading to maybe a potential rematch with John Moxley and Chris Jericho down the stretch in the near future. Whether it may be at Double or Nothing, or maybe on a potential AEW Dynamite. But with that being said, and with Blood and Guts coming around the corner, I wouldn't be too surprised if Blood and Guts had John Moxley with maybe some of the Elite members, whether it be John Moxley, the Bucks, and maybe Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega taking on the Inner Circle in the Blood and Guts War Game styles cage match. That would make the most sense, because that seems the direction we're heading. And to be honest, I do believe the Inner Circle is going to be involved in that Blood and Guts match. So on March 22nd, expect to see the Inner Circle potentially taking on Moxley and some people, whether it be the Elite or the Rhodes family. Something like that along those lines is the direction in terms of storytelling that we're heading in. But what a show. What a show for getting over young talent. Big Swole looked great tonight. Jake Hager continues to improve and show the world why he is a legitimate talent and why he should be taken seriously, as opposed to the We the People gimmick that he had in WWE. The Inner Circle continued to prove why they're the most dominant faction currently in pro wrestling. We had the introduction of the Death Triangle, Pac, and the Lucha Bros. We also had Jake Roberts making his debut and announcing a potential his future managerial role and who he's going to be managing, which whether it be Luke Harper or Lance Archer, it's up in the air. We had the Dark Order taking a loss, and Evil Uno just not being happy and saying that the Exalted One is not going to be pleased. Very exciting to see where that heads and in what direction. But AEW Dynamite was all about storytelling tonight and less about in-ring competition. And it was the right thing to do, especially coming off a heavily a pro wrestling heavy pay-per-view. You don't want to drain out your audience too much, so giving us some storyline and some backstory, aka like an Attitude Era kind of night, was fantastic, and it was the right direction. And AEW did just that tonight. I thought they had a hell of an event, nailed it out of the park. We'll see what NXT did to counter it tonight, but so far it seemed AEW were pulling all the right moves, and they're preparing for the future, and that's what we should be doing. We've got our guys, we've got our present roster, which is doing very well and is driving the ratings. But let's see what the future can hold, and I'm very excited for that. And I would say that, look, we've got some big things, and I've covered a lot here. Lance Archer potentially being Jake Roberts' client, Luke Harper potentially being a part of the Dark Order, Matt Hardy is going to be solo on his own. Seems like the Broken One and with the Broken Wisdom may be appearing soon. And I think that's all we're missing. And apart from that, Moxley looking like a beast. Moxley feeling like the Stone Cold era, getting beaten down after kicking off the show all high and mighty and on a high. I can't see I can't wait to see what AEW brings to us next week when they're in Salt Lake City. It should be a heck of a show, and so far I don't think they've made any major announcements in terms of what matches will be taking place on that event so far. So we'll see what happens next week. This week was great for storytelling purposes. So it was great for storytelling purposes. I want to say thank you to everyone for watching. This was our AWMania recap of AEW Dynamite from March 4th, 2020. We'll see what happens, and like I said, all of these are opinions, my opinions and predictions based off the storytelling that AEW is doing. Whether they come to fruition or not, or whether I did spoil something or not, that's just the name of the business. I'll see you all in the future.